Do you remember doing Dangerfields?
Dude, I was at Dangerfield's the last time Rodney went on stage. I was on the show he was on. It was incredible, man.
Are you serious?
I came in, it was a Saturday night. I mean, he died like about a month after that. And Tony, who runs the place, it was packed because it's Bridge and Tunnel Saturday night. Mm-hmm. Mike Britt is emceeing, and he goes...
Mike Britt's a beast.
Beast. So funny. So funny. And Tony goes, listen, Rodney's in the crowd. A lot of people don't know it. He's sitting with his wife right up front in his robe. And he's going to come on after you, Pete. And, you know... He liked the guy. He didn't even really. He was very old, you know, so it wasn't going to be much of anything. So I'm going to do 15 minutes in front of Rodney. The guy's like going to die any day. I try to do every joke I ever written in 15 minutes. Like he might pop up, shake my hand, and go, "Let me make a few phone calls for you." The guy didn't even know he was indoors, Billy. And I'm rattling off all my right. So I get off. I stand off to the side, and Mike Britt introduces Rodney. Place goes crazy. Okay, Rodney gets up. He's walking so slow. It's like from here to the wall, and it takes him like 20 minutes, 5 solid minutes with his wife helping him. The people even stopped clapping, so I started clapping so they'd keep the clap. I mean, keep the clap going.
Right.
He grabs the mic, and in perfect Rodney voice, if you close your eyes, he grabs the mic, and about Mike Britt, he goes, "How about another round of applause for the Moulin, huh?" Mike Britt starts cracking up too, and then he puts his arm around Mike Britt. He does about a minute and a half, some joke. It was very funny and worked, and then he shuffled off, and then he passed away in about a month.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't meet him or shake his hand or anything because he was back in the crowd, and I had to get back down to the cellar.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing about Dangerfields, now, when we came to New York, that club was like, it was in a bad place, where it was just like, they had comics that had been working there since the fucking place had opened, I went in there one night, dude, and that was one of those nights where I felt like quitting comedy. I watched this, I'm not going to say this comic's name, but I saw this guy on stage, and it was the most bleakest, darkest, like the negativity that was hanging in the fucking air. And then what happened was Jim Norton. Yes, you just said his name. Yes. Yes. Oh my God, dude. Like I watched 3 minutes of that guy's set, and if there was a gun in the room, I would have had it in my mouth. I would have shot him first, just out of just humanity.
Yeah.
How fucking bleak this guy was. So
yeah, that's the kind of guy you want to play in a movie to win your Oscar, an independent film playing that guy. What are you going home to? What are you doing when you get home, man? Right? And
he was sitting in there, and like, dude, I'm not lying. I love Dangerfield, but the reverb on that mic was fucked up for like 7 years straight. Nobody adjusted it. And you know what was the worst is if you did like a high energy bit and there was nobody in there, that fucking echo, you know, which sounds great on like a Dean Martin album, like fills out his voice. But if you're fucking doing like singing, I mean, I'm doing jokes, you're eating your balls. But Norton was the guy that first started doing it.
Yes. You guys got to go there. You get to do a half hour. You get $25.
Norton single-handedly, I think, saved that place because he got us all to go there. I remember everybody was giving him shit. I remember Patrice, rest his soul, goes, he goes, "Where you coming from, Norton?" He goes, "Dangerfield?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "Who'd you go on after? Ruth Buzzy?" and everybody's dying laughing. And Norton defended it, though. He was going, "Dude, you got to go up there." So I was living on the Upper East Side like you, and you and I started doing it. Yeah. And then I remember Sherrod came in, and then there was this great thing. It just all of a sudden just fucking turned around.
Yeah,
all of those older guys took off and left. And but what was weird was that, you know, and as cool as the decor remained the exact same. Like if you're into like shit from back in the day, you got to go to Dangerfields. I mean, it literally looks like you feel like Johnny Carson is going to come walking in when he still had like jet black hair or brown hair and shit. Like when you're sitting there with those little fucking those little lampshades and stuff.
Yeah, and everybody writes their initials on the lampshades. And it's literally like a lounge in Vegas from 1970. They only have male waiters, and the waiters all still wear the red jackets.
Career waiters, too.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, I mean, the photos on the wall when you first come in, because, like, Billy Joel did a song for Easy Money for Rodney's movie, so there's a photo of Billy Joel was there, and, you know, Sinatra and all these great people there.
Elvis with Rodney.
But then the thing would happen after a while, Bill, is I would play there, and then I'd be back at the cellar, and, you know, sometimes in between spots, everyone sits around, chats, and I'm running out, and no one's like, "Where you going?" My guy, "I got to Dangerfield." And he's like, "Wait, you still going to Dangerfield?" Like, it stopped, and because it got to the point where it was $75, I live around the corner, and I'd be like, how can I not bop in and just get a quick 75. Tell a few.
But the thing about me is I fucking love that place.
Sometimes, other times it would just literally. It's the only place I had a breakdown where I was like, the only time where I was ever looking at the crowd like, did you just come here for fucking heat? Why are you even here?
Dude, I've seen some of one of the fucking most bizarre heckles I ever got, and one of the best heckles I ever saw. I saw in that room. All right, the one that happened to me, right? I'm fucking standing on stage, and there's just this group. I told this one time, I think on a special, or it was an extra or something. It was like 4 white dudes in the corner, dude, and you could feel the fucking anger coming off these guys. You could feel the fucking awful dads that beat them with belt buckles and shit. I've never felt an energy like that in my life. So I go on stage, and they're so fucking angry, and they're a little loud, being drunk, that they're intimidating the entire crowd. So I'm standing on stage bombing, and I know I'm bombing because those fucking guys, their energy. And everything in me is saying, don't say anything, just fucking get through the shit. And then finally, I was just bombing so bad I had to say something. I was just saying like, hey, what are you guys talking about over there? They're like, what? I said, yeah, what are you guys talking about over there? And the guy yells out, he goes, anything red and on stage is a faggot. That's what he said, which I don't even know what the fuck that means. Like, it was just so fucking like childish, and
Stupid,
but dude, it was hilarious. And I'm sitting there going like, I went right back into my act, and I'm sitting there. Part of me is I'm furious. The other part of me is laughing my ass off because I can't wait to go down the cellar and tell the story. Dude, that's like saying anybody who's sitting over there has girl germs or cooties, like something in the 2nd grade. But it was still fucking hilarious, and I just eating my balls, and they did nothing about it.
Oh, forget
whatsoever.
No, they never will.
And I just sat there eating my balls. And got off stage, and I had to walk by the fucking table. It just, I don't know. They had that one, and then there was the guy.
But it makes you better, man. Somehow those make you better, man. It makes you.
I didn't mind that in a hell room, but there was always that thing where, like, if you're actually in a comedy club and they're not policing it at all, you're just like, all you give a fuck is that these people are eating and drinking.
Yeah.
And if they yell at me or throw shit at me, you don't give a fuck as long as they pay their check in the end. But the other time. I don't know how to do this joke because I don't want to say the guy's name because
I'm saying a name when I tell a Dangerfield joke or story, but go ahead.
All right, so this actor/comedian goes on stage.
All right.
People are going to figure it out. I'm not going to say his name out of respect. So and he's one of the funniest comics I know. I'm going to say it, Frank Santarelli. He's one of the funniest guys ever.
Oh, with the cigarette. He does a cigarette.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking hilarious. One of my favorites of all time. So he's on stage, and it's just this fucking one of those summertime crowds where they're just fucking sitting there. And one of those things like, why the fuck did you people come out here?
Exactly.
So they're sitting there, and he goes up on stage, and he's on The Sopranos. He plays the bartender and everything. So he goes on stage, and they're just not having it. They're not listening. They're not laughing. And his shit is really, it's like Greer Barnes, where like he'll go into a bit, and it's like this 10-minute high-level concept thing, and they're not buying it. So finally, he's like 10 years older than me, so he's trying to reach out to this crowd because it's a young crowd. He goes, hey, man, he goes, you guys like The Sopranos? How you guys like The Sopranos? He goes, I play so-and-so. I play the bartender. Every week, Tony Soprano beats the shit out of me. And this guy in the back, without missing a beat, goes, he should have killed you. I don't even know to this day if Frank ever heard it. I was like, oh, my God, that's fucking hilarious. So... And I wanted to laugh my balls off, but I had to go on next. So I'm literally watching the beatdown that I'm going to take, right? It was like when your mother would line you all up and, to beat you or whatever, and you're like waiting, like, okay, this is gonna, maybe she'll get tired by the time she gets to me, right?
She'll get a phone call or something.
Yeah, so he walked off stage. I remember he walked by me. It's still classic Frank, funny as hell, didn't say anything. He just walks by me, just doesn't look at me, just goes, wow. Wow. He said it twice. Wow. And just fucking...
That's all you can do with that place sometimes. I mean, Carrie Carabas used to be on stage there at night. We're doing prom shows. I used to do prom shows there.
Oh, no.
That's literally just go. If you can just go up there and stay up there for 10 minutes, you get your $50 or whatever it was. It was not about comedy. It wasn't about anything.
Oh, you'd have a better chance going to Port Authority and just with a Mr. Microphone. You'd get more laughs.
She would yell from the stage because I'd be last. She'd be second and last. She'd yell from the stage, Correale, I got 5 more minutes. How fucking jealous are you? Oh, and the crowd's hilarious. Not even mad that she's bragging that she doesn't have to be in front of them in 5 more minutes.
Completely didn't get it.
And the club would latch on to the weirdest characters to be their like comic, like the comic of the. You know how like. certain comics, like Attell's known for the Comedy Cellar, right?
The 12 o'clock spot.
Yeah. So, like, I remember Dangerfields went through a phase where Steve Marshall was hosting all the shows, and he was their guy.
He's not there to behave.
Oh, yeah. I'm not here to behave. That's his whole slogan. So he would do, it's so weird. He would do his last bit every show. He'd have a dozen roses. And he would slam each rose against the piano as he had a comment about women, like, and then you blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, the show would end, and then when everyone left, he'd have to go back in and pick up his roses, like the club wouldn't even do it for him. And then, like, I remember in between shows sometimes, because there was a Korean deli where he'd get the roses,
Right.
They're like, Steve, you're next. So-and-so's running late. And he'd go, I don't even have my roses yet. I didn't even go get my... And they go, well, hurry up and go get your roses. So he'd have to run to the Korean deli and get his fucking roses. Not to mention, that's half your paycheck in flowers, man, right?
Yeah, dude. And
where are you going with that, dude? That's what... It doesn't have anyone
Guilty as charged, dude. I remember I used to work in a dental office. I worked in a dental office with my dad when I started out, and we used to have, like, when we were really drilling into somebody's tooth, dude, it was gross, man. Shit would be flying out of the mouth. So you basically had this plastic. It looked like a welder's mask, but it was all plastic.
Yeah.
So all the spittle that would have hit your face is hitting it. Oh,
sure.
God, it was a fucking disgusting job. So I got the idea one night that I was going to put it on because I was so young. I was going to put it on stage or whatever, and I was going to. This was going to be my closing bit. So for like maybe 2.5 months of my stand-up career, I had this little duffel bag, and I would be bringing this stupid mask on stage. And the funniest thing was, I didn't even have a joke. I would just put it on, and I would just say, like, my job during the day, you know what it's like working there? The job stinks so bad, I got to wear this. And I would put it on, and they'd sort of chuckle, and they were like, and where does this go? And I would just have the thing on, and with the screen in front of me, like, muffling my voice, I'd be like, thanks a lot, you guys have been... as I'm taking it off. And finally, one day, I figured it out. I was talking to this comic, Todd Parker.
Yeah.
And
God, we come a long way. Holy shit, dude.
And I said to him, oh, yeah, I actually thought that was funny. So I talked to him. I said, I'm not going to do that mask thing anymore. I remember he was sitting at the Kowloon with his arms crossed, looking forward, not looking at me. I go, I'm not going to do that mask thing anymore. And I was just like, and he just goes, oh, yeah? He's just looking at the stage. I go, yeah, I just feel like I'm just saying, like, I'm so not funny. I literally need to bring shit on stage to make myself funny. And he just sort of looked at me. He goes, yeah, you figured that out? And I remember my heart sinking, going like, oh, my God, every comic was thinking that. And I didn't even know the whole, he's a prop comic and all that shit that, those guys go through. Which I don't give a fuck if you use props. It's just funny. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, that's a different thing. But, I mean, if you're a prop guy, you're a prop guy. If you just got roses, I mean, that's it. It's like...
You got to go all in.
That's what I'm saying.
You either got a bunch of props...
That's it.
Or absolutely nothing.
Vinny Favorino would have shut down the mask if you hadn't.
Yeah, no, he would have. He would have. He definitely would have. Don't sleep on Pete Correale's new special. Let me tell you, it's streaming right now on show.com, SHO.com. Just click on comedy. He does an awesome podcast with Sebastian, who's one of the best comics out there. It's called The Pete and Sebastian Show on the Riotcast Network, which is www.riotcast.com. Your Twitter is mycorreale, CORREALE. Your website is www.petecorreale.com.